Hello, this is DC6, and I'm sort of doing a Let's Play now of Zelda Classic. I'm going to be calling this Behind the ZCenes because I'm going to kind of walk you through my quests on Zelda Classic. So, first I'll start with the first one that I did, which is Trouble at Ganonco, and requires my password. So, here is the password for every single one of my quests. I don't really mind if you go and open the quest yourself, or if you want to do some changes or just look at the quest. Anyway, the password for every single one of my quests is I forget. There we go. So this is the first quest I made, and this is the first screen I made, and I'm doing this in Zelda Classic 2.5 build 4. But I did make this in 2.10, so I'm going to be some differences and some ways to do things a little bit easier. So anyway, here's the first screen. So I'll kind of explain how to use Zelda Zquest also. So up here you have the menu, so File. I open my quest, of course. And then Import and Export. I'm not really too sure about this, at least in 2.5. I haven't really used this too much, but in 2.10 most of it's not really that useful. You can import tiles and stuff like that from JPEG files. Import start page 0, so let's see. What's poo.tile? Okay, I don't know what the hell that did. So let's just skip over that crap. I forget. Go back to the first screen there. And here's the quest. So header, this is just where you put the information for when it loads up. Rules, you have a bunch of rules here. A lot different than in 2.10. There's a lot more rules that you can set, like items, quick sort, I love that rule. Enable magic, I didn't have that, I guess. Show secret combos, hints when using the lens. I really like using that one too. Slow walk while charging, that wasn't really pertinent back then. And just some rules you can set up in your quest, like, yeah. Wand can't be used as a melee weapon. Okay, so that's item rules, enemy rules. There's quite a few here. A lot of these are new to 2.5, so I'm not really sure about a lot of that. Here's map count. This is where you set the number of maps. So right here we're at map 1. So if we press period or comma, we can cycle through the maps. So period, cycle to map 2, cycle to map 3, 4, 5, and 6. So as you can see down here, this is where all the screens are, and I put them all in the appropriate palette. You can set the palette over here, so if you set the palette here, set to overworld. If I go back, oh yeah, this is already in overworld, so never mind. But it'll just display the palette on the screen. To actually change the palette, you have to do something else, which I'll show you later. So, actually, let's go back to map 1. And then cheats. You can set up cheat codes if you want. I had this just for testing. If you enable cheats, then you can access the cheat menu on the when you're actually playing the quest in Zelda Classic. But I don't want cheats for now. Items. In 2.5, you can actually edit your items. Like, for example, let's go to a sword. Sword 4, Master. So here are the attributes to the sword. Can slash, B, penetrates enemies. I'm not really sure what that means. Well, I guess beam, sword beam. So I guess that means if you shoot a sword beam, it'll do like the golden arrow and just slice through enemies. Here's where you set how many hearts you have to have for the beam. So here's 100%, and beam damage would be 100% of its slash damage. And in 2.5, you can actually adjust all this stuff. So if you go, like, right now it's 8, if you go 16, that means it's twice as powerful. And it's level 4. Pick up. And yeah, whatever. Okay, so that's the item editing menu there. So we have enemy editing item, or enemy editing menu here too. So in 2.5 this was added, and you can do a lot of really interesting things here, like I've kind of been fooling around with 2.5, so I've made some enemies, like I made a key summoning wizrobe. I also made a whole bunch of different kinds of bats. They're really annoying. But anyway, so for example, we go, let's maybe edit, let's edit a wizrobe. Let's edit the summoner here. So here, it doesn't really have a weapon. It just summons the bats. This is the, actually no, this isn't the bat robe, sorry. This is the one I wanted, the bat robe. Okay. So you can set what kind of items it drops, things like that. And this would just be standard stuff for if you're setting up a bat wizrobe. So here in data 2, walk style teleport, or you can have it phase. I think that's like the blue wizrobe style. And this one summons. I don't know what summon layer means, but whatever. So this shot attribute 1 here, this indicates that it will summon enemy 106, which is the bat. And then teleport delay, I'm not really sure what that means. And then here's some flags you can set for the enemies, like damaged by power 0 weapons, it can be damaged by the boomerang, things like that. So defense is 1 here, so boomerang defense means that it won't be, I guess it won't be affected by the boomerang, I'm not really sure. Or maybe just gets stunned, I don't know. By the fire boomerang, maybe. But yeah, magic, it blocks. Hookshot, it will be stunned. Ignores all that stuff and blocks all that stuff. And then more defenses over here. So you can set up a lot of different custom enemies through 2.5. And let's see. Yeah, I don't care about the autosave. Strings is where you put in messages. So these are all the messages. You have to set these up before you can actually put them in the screen. DMaps, this is probably the most important thing, the most important menu. So here you set up your different levels. So for example, first one is the overworld. You go in, and the mechanics, it's on map 1. It takes up the entire map 1, and it is an overworld type map. There are 4 different kinds: NES Dungeon, Interior, BS Overworld. BS Overworld is an 8x8 overworld. NES Dungeon is just like the dungeon styles in Legend of Zelda, and I'll explain that later. And then Interior is another type of, I guess, interior level type setup. So I'll just take it back to Overworld. And it's level 0, which is important for the Overworld because that means that the whistle warps will be activated. And also when you press spacebar, if you have that rule set, that you can view the map with the map button, then that will be available on level 0. Although I think in 2.5 you can customize that to whatever you want. And then continue down here. Continues at screen 78, which is where we're at now. And I don't know why continue here is not selected, but whatever. Alright, so appearance. This is the color scheme, so the palette you want. So in the palette menu, you can set the overworld to whatever you want, but unless you set it up here to be a different palette, it will be the overworld palette, which is what I wanted. And here's the DMap title, and this stuff I'm not really concerned about. You can set up the music, the MIDI, so you can load different MIDIs, put them in there. Maps, these are new to 2.5, so disable, you can disable items in here. So if you want to disable bombs or something, just stick that in there, and you can't use bombs in the overworld now. And then these flags, yeah, you can set this one up, view the overworld map by pressing map. So you can set that up in maps that aren't level 0 in 2.5 now. And this was standard in 2.10 and previous versions, that at least in the overworld, you can only have guys, people that speak in cave rooms. So if you set up a guy on an overworld map and you said, okay, say this string, he wouldn't say anything. So, alright, so that is the DMap editor. Next is initial data. So this just specifies what you have to start out with. So I don't think I really had anything starting out in Trouble at Ganonco, but for example, if you want to start with the wooden sword, you just click that, and when you start the quest, start a new game, you will have the wooden sword at the beginning. Items, this is where you specify your initial items. So bombs, 8 max, which is standard. Super bombs, and super bomb ratio. So 4 means that you can carry 1 super bomb for every 4 bombs that you can carry. So in this case it would be 2. And then arrows you don't have. Keys and rupees are new to 2.5. Level items. These are just if you want to start with the map, the compass, or the big key, or the number of keys for the different DMaps here. And then in 2.5, a lot more DMaps available. I think there are only 256 in 2.10 in previous versions. And then miscellaneous, this is the map you start out with, so start out in the overworld on screen 78, which I specified in DMaps. Start with 3 heart containers, start with 3 hearts. Yeah, so you start the game with 3 out of 3 hearts, which is good. Continue HP 3. Huh. I could swear that I had that as at 100%. Well, that's what it is in 2.10, but anyway. And then these are heart containers, and you can set the amount of heart container pieces per heart container. So you can set, in 2.10 it would be 4. You can change that, but in 2.5 you can set it to whatever you want. And then constants, this is just new stuff for 2.5. Alright, so graphics. This is where you set the graphics. Palettes, you can edit the palettes for the levels and the sprites. I haven't really fooled around with this too much. Actually, I did in Ganonco 2. I changed Link's color palette. I think that would be in... Well, it's not in 2. Is it in 1? Yeah, these are... One of these are Link's color palettes. I'm not really sure which ones they are, so... maybe it's these ones. So, start with the green tunic, and then blue tunic, red, and then gold. So if you change this to purple or whatever, instead of getting the gold ring, you'll get purple ring, I guess. And... main palettes, not really that important. That's just level 0, or sorry, palette 0, overworld. And level palettes, so I made some of these here. These are some of my custom ones, so like the swamp, it's level 2. But the second Triforce level, made those palettes there. And 9 is the enemies like bat robes, level 3 Stalfos, magical Octoroks, things like that. So you can set the palette for those enemies. And it changes level to level. Yeah, autosave, whatever. And then combos. This is just a combo editor. You can copy combos down here, whatever. I didn't really do too much tile editing and stuff like that in this game. And tiles, you can just draw your own tiles, like go in here and do whatever. Yeah, I have a new tile there. And then you can actually grab tiles from different quests too, like let's take some from Ganonco 2, maybe. I forget. So I can take so I can maybe grab, I don't know. This is the pure tile set, so let's grab some Pole's Voice things. Why not? So there, I grabbed the Pulse voices there. And I should replace some of the Patra sprites, but whatever, that's okay. And audio is just setting up your MIDIs, loading them, whatever. It's not too difficult. SFX data that's new to 2.5, you can import different sound effects and change them, whatever. Let's just go back to the MIDI thing right now. So to load a MIDI, you just load it up here. MIDIs. Let's see. NBA Jam. So it's not too loud, so let's change the volume to 255. And I've returned to Zork soundtrack on the background. I don't know if it really loops really well, but you can set that up if you want. So if you set it up, let's say start the loop at 8 and end it at 32. So it'll start there and then it'll end at 32. You just have to listen and then set it up the way you want. Yeah, it's not very good, but whatever. Alright, so next is scripts. I'm not really going to go into this because I haven't used them. Defaults. Oh, you can just reset things. Alright, so I think I'll end this episode off here. I haven't really gotten into my trouble with Ganonco explanation, but I think maybe next video I'll just finish up explaining the menu, and then maybe in the episode after that I'll get into some of my design process and things like that. So anyway, I will see you for more, I guess, behind the ZCenes. So see you later.